Live from Mesa, Arizona, Ho-Ho-Cam Park, the home of the Oakland Athletics spring training as they're getting ready to take off to Japan here pretty soon. Brought to you by Jiffy Lube Multi-Care. Same great services, but now with brakes, tune-ups, and tires at select locations. Visit jiffylubeka.com for valuable coupons and a location near you. Should probably just get it out of the way. I've been talking about it all week since we found out that Matt Williams is going to join us. We are down here covering the A's, and I've said many times how proud we are to cover the A's. Yep. We're going to have, I think, at least 155 games this year. This is our 5th consecutive year down here for spring training, and I don't know that I've dealt with a classier organization, and you cannot help but root for them. I grew up a diehard Giants fan. The Hum Baby Giants, for me, that is my favorite stretch in all of sports. So to be sitting across from Matt Williams, who joins us now, I'll just get out of the way, is an absolute honor. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Did you know today is Will Clark's 55th birthday?
I did not, but now I do.
Now you do. 55 years old.
It's amazing. He was just 25.
Right?
Goes fast, doesn't it?
It really. I still remember him, the Noosler, coming out of Mississippi State, playing for the Olympics. Sweetest swing I ever saw in my entire life. And other than you, probably an interview I would be most nervous about. But a guy now who's 55 years old is probably just as loud and brash as he was at 25.
Yeah, I just saw him the other day over at the Giants.
Yeah,
it's the same.
Doesn't change.
No, he's shaking hands, kissing babies.
Right.
You know, interacting with the fans and
high pitched voice.
Of course, yeah. That'll never change.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his golf swing?
Early in his career.
Very weirdly similar to his batting swing, just in that it doesn't look like he's swinging the club at all, and it goes a mile.
Yeah, and he's got the cape afterward, and you know, yeah, it's good.
How are you? And you're obviously having a blast here with the A's. And we talked to Matt Chapman yesterday, who is absolutely a character in his own right. We love him to death, and sings your praises. And you can see on the field the guy, much like you, is an absolute vacuum at that corner.
Yeah, they're all wonderful to work with. I mean, the work ethic here is off the chart.
Sure.
You know, they got a little taste of it last year, certainly. The younger guys, the guys at the corners, both won Gold Gloves, Chappie with the Platinum. We had all 4 positions in the infield and the final 3 voting for the Gold Glove. They work extremely hard. I'm proud of them, and it continues today. So, you know, to be part of it and be able to coach these guys is an honor for me.
And go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, no, I thought – go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, hey, if you had a question, I don't want to completely dominate.
No, it's fine. You do your thing, man. You do your thing.
So,
you've been giddy all week.
So when, well, you know, as we get into, and obviously you've been into coaching and management for a while, I want to go back because you have experience as a skipper yourself, obviously. Was that a difficult transition for you at all? I've found sometimes in history the better the player, sometimes the more difficult the transition is, because a lot of it's like, do it like I did, you know. Yeah. But you obviously made that transition pretty seamlessly. Was it a challenge?
No, I don't think so. I enjoy the aspects of the game that, you know, that you can be part of as a manager. So you know, as right now I'm dealing with the infielders.
Right.
But as the manager, you deal with everybody, and I enjoyed it. I thought that, you know, that the teams that we had in DC were fantastic teams. We didn't get to where we wanted to get to, of course, but came across some very talented players in my time there that continue to be wonderful players. Got a chance to work with a lot of guys there, and you know, as the manager, it's it's a little bit of a different deal, right? Because you're not necessarily banging the fungos on the backfield with the infielders.
Right.
It's more of a broad scope, but I enjoyed it, and you know, it's fun for me. I love the game. It's given me everything I have in my professional career. And I want to give back in certain ways. So if there's a little bit of knowledge I can give to guys, and that's great. But I enjoyed it and continue to enjoy coaching third and dealing with the infielders here.
How much are you able to take from that now that you've had that experience as a manager? Now, like you said, you kind of shift your focus to one area. Do you still apply some of the things you learned as a manager in terms of dealing with players and things like that?
Yeah, and the game is constantly evolving, right? So we've got a younger group here that have different needs and different a different opinion about the game potentially than I would have as an older player or a former player or a coach or a manager. So today's world is dealing with that and understanding them, making them feel comfortable, getting the best you possibly can out of each individual guy, and everybody approaches it differently. So it's an interesting concept, but something that is way doable. And we've seen that with these guys on the field.
Well, and you obviously, listen, as a player, you had pretty damn good power. And I wonder, coming up in the late 80s versus now, or should I say, I'm getting my times wrong. Yeah, late 80s.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you would have also fit in very well in today's game with launch angle and the emphasis on home runs and all that? Do you think that would have fit your game as a young player coming out of Phoenix just the same?
I think it's always been the same. Mm-hmm. The verbiage today is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But we thought the same way. I know that in today's game, I would be a shift guy. They would definitely shift me.
Sure.
So I don't know how I would deal with that. But we talked about the same stuff that they talk about today. It's just different verbiage. So as an example, launch angle was, well, yeah, I want to create this certain launch angle. All we have now is math.
Right.
Before, I just didn't want to hit the ball any higher than the light towers.
Right.
Right. So I knew that if I did that, then my angle would be right, and if I hit the ball correctly, then it would go over the fence. Same stuff.
Okay.
They just apply math to it now. So all the stuff in the game is the same. They just speak in different terms.
You mentioned the shift and how prevalent that is in the game today. How does that change the way you coach infielders?
Well, we have all the information you could possibly want.
Sure.
We know that this particular hitter will hit the ball to this particular side of the field in this particular location 82.9% of the time.
It's incredible how often they hit it right at a guy.
It's incredible. So what we do is we try to use that to our advantage and put the guys in positions where they can be successful defensively.
Sure.
And we're lucky because on the corners we have two guys that are maybe unmatched in the game. So so we can cheat a little bit with those guys because they're so athletic and they're so good, and help pinch the middle of the diamond a little bit. We did that a little bit last year. We had success doing it, and we'll continue. It helps when you have guys like that on the corner of your infield.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we have, as we talk to Matt Williams right now on Sports 1140 KHTK out in Mesa, Arizona, and a lot of kids listening right now in the cars, going to school or driving around. I always like to ask people like yourself who had so much success, especially fielding, any drills, anything that top of your head for those little leaguers listening right now that want to be young Matt Williamses that might help?
Well, I think that if you come to an A's game, watch Matt Chapman. Watch how he prepares for each pitch.
Sure.
Watch what he does when he goes to field a ground ball. He's the prime example of good fundamentals and aggressiveness and the way it should be done. The thought is that you can't catch what you can't see.
Sure.
So the idea is to catch the ball out in front of you so you can see it, making sure that your feet are in good position to catch a grounder, make sure your feet are in good position to throw to a base. And it starts on the ground always. So if your feet are in good position, everything tends to follow along.
Right.
If you get out of position, that's when the errant throw happens or the misplayed ground ball happens. Simple stuff. It just takes practice, and it takes, the reps of doing it as many times as you can possibly do it.
Anything in your coaching and managerial career, I'm always curious about this from players that I knew as players more than coaches or managers. Anything in particular you drew from Roger Craig?
Yeah, well, patience.
Yeah.
Roger was the one that I looked to. He was my first, and he was always so patient, especially with me.
Sure.
Anybody that knows the old story of the Giants knows that when I came up, I wasn't very good. So he was patient. Al Rosen was patient. They understood that, I had 72 games in the minor leagues in low A ball before I was in the majors, and I was a little overmatched, to say the least.
Sure.
But they were patient with me, and they allowed me to succeed sometimes and fail most times. until I got enough experience where I could handle myself a little bit.
I may be misremembering here, but if I remember you coming up, it was. I always feel like your glove was a major league glove. It was the hitting that needed to come around. And
yeah.
you think that was something that Roger and Al recognized and were patient with you because of the defensive end, and you had a legendary work ethic. I imagine that helped as well.
Well, yeah, I think that they were of the opinion that, he's going to figure it out at some point. As long as he stays in the game and catches a baseball when it's hit to him, then we can have him on the club. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of up and down between Phoenix and San Francisco, for sure. And a lot of struggles along the way. Great teammates, Bob Brenly and Mike Kruko and Don Robinson and Chris Spire and
Robbie Thompson.
And Robbie and Will. Of course, they were younger players at the time, but I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from Dusty. And they were all just on my side.
Right.
And that's nice to have. And so, ordinarily, if you struggle for 3 straight years, maybe you don't get called back. But I kept getting called back, which was instrumental in my career.
And I asked that question because, and I'm on the outside here, but those teams were notorious for their chemistry, their attitude. They were just all gamers. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I see a lot of that with this club. The chemistry, how everybody supports each other and roots for each other. I see some similarities between those late 80s, 90s Giants teams and this attitude here.
Yeah, it starts with the younger players. The younger players have been taught well in this organization.
Yeah,
they're taught well to appreciate what they get, to work hard to achieve that, to understand that you learn from your failures. But I can tell you, in my experience, I have yet to see a party after every win like I see here. It's a party.
Right.
It's a party in the clubhouse, and it happens, and it's quick, and anybody that's around the club will tell you that they work hard to achieve it, but they enjoy it when it happens.
Sure.
And then it shuts down about 15 minutes later, and they look forward to the next day. So it's a lot of fun to be around.
Last thing for you, I know it's a curse to not go game by game in this sport, but with this team surprising so many last year, 97 wins, the staff seeming to hopefully, knock on wood, stable out a little bit, and these young guys just getting better. Is it fair for guys like us and fans to actually have some real expectations for this team this season?
But of course it is. I don't know if anybody's expectations outside of the clubhouse are any larger than the guys inside.
Sure.
The difference is now it's not a surprise.
Right.
And everybody would love to be in that situation. Who wouldn't want to be on a team that people talk about and say, well, they got a chance?
Gotcha.
So, embrace it. Welcome it. Last year was a little bit out of nowhere, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But the true, the true gratification would be the ones that kind of have the target on them now and still continue to improve and get better and hopefully get further in the playoffs. So they're all looking forward to it. We're ready to go, and they embrace it. They welcome it.
Well, as a guy sitting here with 2 young kids, one of them in a little league, Kyle, it's not every day you get to. It's not every day you get paid to meet one of your heroes. A guy I used to send letters to and always responded. And I get to sit right across from you and talk to you. And it's an honor. I appreciate your time. And good luck in Japan. Good luck this season.
Thanks. The honor's mine. I appreciate it.
Thanks. That is Matt Williams. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. I have no idea how we're going to continue the show after this, but we'll try.
You'll be all right.
Sports 1140 KHTK.
You're listening to The Drive.